everyone. This is Doug Davis, broker in charge at Crombie Realty, and here with another Ask Doug. If you're liking these, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like this. Really helps. Thanks so much. Today, I wanted to go over closing statement defined. So there's a lot of confusion when a seller gets a closing statement and usually finds that it's more money than they thought. Uh, and in part, that's because there are three categories of monies that are included in the closing statement. Some are not closing costs. So that leads to confusion. So maybe a closing statement shouldn't be called a closing statement, but maybe a financial arrangement statement might be more apropos, more appropriate to avoid the confusion of a closing cost. So to define it, let's go over the three groups. Okay, so first one is the true closing cost. So that would be things like the brokerage fee, title, escrow charges, drafting the deed, the conveyance tax, any repairs, things like that. Those are direct closing costs. Those are things that would not be charged if you weren't selling. Those are closing costs. All right, there's a second group that are included in the old closing statement defined. And that would be charges that accrue daily. So they're your charges as a seller, but then they're prorated because usually you overpay them, like real property tax, maintenance fee, insurance, if you're leasehold, your ground lease rent. So you would get either a credit or a debit, and that would show up on your closing statement. So if it's a debit, that's going to be more money that needs to go to pay one of those charges. So, but they're continuous charges. Those are things that you would normally pay because you own it, but you have to do the prorations to tidy up the accounting and finish it up when you sell based on what time of the month you're closing. All right, so that's the second group, and that shows up, and that could increase the uh, cash requirement at the very end. Okay, a third group also shows up, but it's not a closing cost. It's not something it is a direct cost. The third group is taxes. So that's something that is ordinarily out of the um, arena of the real estate agent or escrow to calculate your federal and state taxes. So in this case, it would be your capital gain taxes. So there are two categories: FERPTA, which is federal, and that's if you are not a US citizen, and HARPTA, and that's if you are not a Hawaii resident. Okay. If if you're not either of the, if you're not a, let's take the state one because that's the most common. If you're not a Hawaii resident, then there's going to be a withholding of capital gains tax, but it's not a tax, it's a withholding. But that shows up on your closing statement. So they'll withhold a percentage of the gross sales price, and then send that at recordation to the tax office. And then it's up to you to get a refund once your capital gain is calculated and you file your taxes on the following year. So, and that would work the same way if you're not a US citizen. So again, The withholding is not a tax, it's capital gain. You might not even have a capital gain. Maybe you have a loss. Um, but the withholding still has to happen until your capital gain tax is approved by the tax office, and then they can issue a refund and goes on like that. So, but that shows up on your closing statement. So that's why I say a financial arrangement statement might be more appropriate to call this. So that makes it very clear to you what is involved when you're trying to calculate your bottom line when you sell your property. Okay, that's it. And if you have any property needs, buying, selling, or property management, love to hear from you. All right, till next week. Thanks so much.